Hello students, today we continue to study the first chapter of history from the beginning of time. In the last two videos, we have seen the evolution of human beings, how they evolved at different regions of the world simultaneously, and the slow and gradual development of human beings. Here we'll study about the modes of communication, that is the language of early humans. There are several views on language development of early humans given by various scientists, archaeologists and anthropologists. And the first user of language was the hominid. The hominid language involved gestures or hand movements. Later they developed another way of communication known as vocal. But non-verbal communication such as singing or humming was developed next. So it is very evident that in the beginning hominid used actions to communicate, gestures to communicate, and they were not able to make any sounds. But slowly and gradually they were able to make sound like that of singing or humming. Homo habilis may have possessed a small number of speech sounds in the initial stage. Slowly they began to develop small number of speech sounds, and gradually these may have developed into language. It has been suggested that the brain of Homo habilis had certain features which would have made it possible for them to speak. Thus, language may have developed as early as 2 million years ago. The evolution of the vocal tract was equally important. This occurred around 2 lakh years ago. It is more specifically associated with modern humans. Another suggestion is that language developed around the same time as art, that is, around 40,000 to 35,000 years ago. The development of spoken language has been seen as closely connected with art, since both are media for communication. Now let us study about the art of the early human. Hundreds of paintings of animals done between 30,000 and 12,000 years ago have been discovered in the caves of France and Spain. These include depictions of bison, horses, ibex, deer, mammoths, rhinos, lions, bears, panthers, hyenas, and owls. And several explanations have been offered for the same. One is that because of the importance of hunting, the paintings of animals were associated with the rituals and magic. The act of painting could have been a ritual to ensure a successful hunt, such as a big animal hunt by an individual. Another explanation offered is that these caves were possibly meeting places for small groups of people or locations for group activities. These groups could share hunting techniques and knowledge, while painting and engravings served as the media for passing information from one generation to the next. Maybe it might have been used as a medium to communicate to the group of humans that visited the cave when they assembled, or they might have done it to explain how to hunt an animal through these paintings, since their vocabulary might have been limited. The above account of early societies have been based on archaeological evidence. Clearly, there is much that we still do not know. Now, what we all know is the few discoveries that have been done at different locations, but these are not enough to learn and understand the life of ancient human beings. And it's very clear that we still do not know many of the things that happened ancient days. Hunter-gatherer societies from the present to the past. Our knowledge of present-day hunter-gatherers increased through studies by anthropologists. Anthropology is a discipline that studies human culture and evolutionary aspects of human biology of the past. Whether the information about living hunters and gatherers could be used to understand past hunter-gathering societies. One group of scholars suggests that data from present-day hunter-gatherer societies can be used to understand the past societies. Ethnography is the study of contemporary ethnic groups. It includes an examination of their modes of livelihood, technology, gender roles, rituals, political institutions, and social customs. On the other side, another group of scholars who feel that ethnographic data cannot be used for understanding past societies as the two are totally different. The present day hunting gatherer societies, they exchange and trade in minor forest produce, or they work as paid laborers in the fields of neighboring farmers, and these societies are totally marginalized in all senses, geographically, politically, and socially. Now let us study some of the developments that happened between 10,000 and 4,500 BCE in early human life. For several million years, humans lived by hunting wild animals and gathering wild animals. Then between 10,000 and 4,500 years ago, people in different parts of the world learned to domesticate certain plants and animals. This led to the development of farming and pastoralism as a way of life. The shift from hunting to farming was a major turning point in human history. With the introduction of agriculture, more people began to stay in one place for even longer period than they had done before. Thus, permanent houses began to be built of mud, mud bricks, and even stone. These are some of the earliest villages known to archaeologists. Farming and pastoralism led to the introduction of many other changes, such as the making of pots for storing grain and other produce and to cook food. So, the early humans gradually began to settle down. Besides, new kinds of stone tools came into use. Other new tools such as wooden plough were used in agriculture. Gradually, people became familiar with metals such as copper and tin. The wheel, important for both pot making and transportation, came into use. 5,000 years ago, even larger concentrations of people began to live together in cities.